Alright, what's going on guys? It's Almond. Welcome back to another Wizard101 video. In today's video, I kind of want to talk about how I can actually get permabanned in Wiz moving forward, right? Which is kind of crazy to say, but I do want to talk about it and give you guys some insight on what can happen in the future. And it's not just including me, right? It's including other players that do partake in this, and it definitely needs to be addressed because no one's talking about this, and it's been affecting me as a content creator because of the fact that I upload different forms of content when it comes to PvE. So we'll talk about it and give you guys some insight when it comes to me being banned in the future, or permanently, right? So if you do enjoy this type of content, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all type of stuff, and let's get into it. So with the Hunt House stuff that happened a while ago and players got essentially suspended for a month, it's brought in some insight regarding other forms of content that I do upload, right? Some players are saying I should have gotten banned early on or suspended early on due to the other forms of content that I do upload, right? And a lot of players do watch me for the content that I do upload, which is cheese content, which is essentially how to make the fights easier, one roundable, whatever it may be, essentially just cheesing fights that aren't the intended way, right? Whether it be me uploading videos in the past about how to do Lord Magus with the mass feint, and obviously me addressing those videos do get them fixed, but we were able to use those forms of cheats, whether it be that or Drown Dan, or other forms of key bosses, or just any form of content that is in like literally in Wiz. I do my best to cover and just think of cheese strats, right? Certain stuff that is cheese is like, you know, being able to just do the fights easier. A good example was the General Lightbane, right, for the Burrower gear. Now I could have gotten like technically I was breaking TOS on that video. Now you might be wondering how, right? Well, when it comes to the fight, right, being able to just flee and come back and doing that over and over to essentially cheese the fight, that is considered an exploit, right? Being able to flee and stagger join is considered an exploit in KI's eyes. Now hold your horses. Now players are probably going to be like, well, they should just fix it. Because sometimes you don't intentionally try to stagger join. It's not something that you're trying to do, and sometimes it does affect the fight. Now for that reason, I don't think it's that big of an issue, but if you're purposely doing it overall, that is considered an exploit. It was like this when the Aeon fight came out, right? That people were farming for the Aeon gear, etc., from the final fight for Novus, and players did the cheese, including myself, where you just would shift home or shift home mid-fight, and you can just ignore the cheats, and you can just one round the fight and just farm the gear. I did that, and a lot of other players in the community did that because they did not want to spend like an hour on this fight. Now that fight has gone through so many changes where it's still pretty bad. I don't think I would want to see a polymorph fight like that ever again. I wouldn't mind it if it's like a single fight, you know, like storyline equivalent, you know, how we had the paradox, whatever, that's fine. But I don't think I would want a 4-player based polymorph fight ever again. Due to the fact that it was super long. But players did the cheese or the exploit because the fact that they did not want to farm. Like, it's just not worth our time, right? And that was my reason behind it, and that's what a lot of players were doing too, not just me, right? And that was considered an exploit as well, right? Because you're purposely ignoring the fight, and you're ignoring the cheats, so that is considered exploiting. Now there's certain stuff that is not considered an exploit, but it can be viewed as an exploit. So a good example is when I did the Lord Nightshade stuff, right? Lord Nightshade, I uploaded a video on how to one round it. Of course I need to revisit that video, but essentially I used the dispel to ignore his whole cheat and be able to bubble change and kill him. The whole premise of the fight is doing you can only do a certain amount of damage based upon the bubble. The bubble is it caps out your damage, but if you dispel the bubble, and you can change it so to do it whatever you want, and then you can just one-shot him, which is what I was doing. Now to me that did not seem like an exploit, to me that seemed like that's fine. I mean, if I'm able to dispel it, I don't think that's an issue, right? I'm using the cards that are given to me in my deck. I'm using whatever's accessible via my character, so dispelling it didn't seem like an issue. Now that could be also viewed as an exploit, right? But there's no real way to tell if that's intended or if it's not, because in certain fights you are allowed to dispel, so it's not really an exploit. But for example, in the Storm Titan fight or doing the raid stuff or whatever, and you're doing stuff that's not intended, obviously that it's considered an exploit. Exploiting has to give you an advantage in the game. So the Storm Titan thing that I did upload, where they could one round it, it's like that gray area. Well, it is giving me gear, right? It is giving me gear, it's giving me stuff, right? But it's not something that is quote unquote the best gear, right? Like I can farm the paradox gear or whatever, but it's not the best gear, right? It's just there, right? If this, they only care about stuff that is affecting max level gameplay. So for example, the Aeon stuff was the max level quote unquote gameplay that players were farming for because they wanted the gear, which is still pretty good at the moment. Obviously at the time of recording this video, Waller's not out yet, so keep that in mind. But like that stuff was considered an exploit, but they don't care about stuff that's not max level gear, which to me is kind of concerning, right? Because if this glitch exists, right, they really do need to fix this stagger joining issue, because if they don't care about it for low levels, right, if it's affecting a low level fight or anything like that, it doesn't go on the radar, it's not a big issue. But anything that is considered max level gameplay, whether it be farming gear for like, I don't know, like 160 at the moment, that is considered exploiting to a certain extent, which to me it's like my whole content is centered around cheesing, and a lot of players do like that. A lot of people like being able to do the stuff that I do upload, whether it be one rounding stuff, two rounding it, whatever, and I come up with strats based upon that, of course. And a good chunk of the community does like it, right? People do it without them even realizing it as well. But it's just that gray area of just being, well, is this an exploit or is this not, whatever, right? And players are still going to farm it, but then once they get hit with like a temp ban, whatever, moving forward, it's going to be an issue, especially since a lot of players got hit with the temp ban for the hunt house stuff. It added this whole issue. Well, hey, if players are getting banned for this, shouldn't players get banned for other things as well that exist in this game? Like for example, them adding stuff to the crown shop, and it was gold at one point. Players bought a lot of the bundles that were for gold. For some reason they were for gold, which shouldn't have happened, but players were able to buy it and no one got hit with the ban, no one got hit with anything, right? And then there was the issue with the mount that was like a decathlon exclusive mount, but for some reason it was in the crown shop when the birthday was happening. Players were able to buy it with gold, and KI did not say anything about it. There's been other forms of stuff like this that's happened, but KI has not brought attention to it once. But when it came to this hunt house thing, and it came to like just the cheese stuff that I've uploaded, it's become an issue, which it's like this. It doesn't make sense to me. It really doesn't. It's like like I get it to a certain point, but at a certain point I do not as well, right? And at the same time, I have to be careful when it comes to uploading these cheese videos. Like, do I still make these cheese videos? I know a lot of player base wants me to upload it because of the fact that, hey, like I want to be able to do the fight faster, whatever. But I think at a certain point I have to be careful, because if it's not completely intended, completely, I can actually get banned for it completely, and that would be the end of the channel. Because like I said, moving forward, this channel is only for Wiz and Pirate. I'm going to make a separate channel for other games and have a backup option, because if I get banned, am I ever going to be playing the game again? No, because I would not be able to, and I would not want to play on an alt just to play the game and upload content on it. If I get banned, I get banned, right? And when you get banned on one game, you get banned on both games, because my account is on both games. So that's something that you should know moving forward, of course. But this whole issue with exploiting and quote unquote cheesing fights is going to affect my channel moving forward a lot. Especially this whole stagger joining issue. If stagger joining gets fixed, honestly, I don't think there's that many like quote unquote exploits or cheese stuff that you can do, right? If they just fix the stagger joining issue, like stagger joining has been an issue since like the whole system was implemented back like a while ago. It's been like years at this point. Since like you were able to join mid combat. Once that system was implemented, it's caused so many issues. I mean, yeah, there's some pluses to it, right? Being able to join mid-round, it's amazing. But just causing these issues and then blaming players for it is like, it's kind of like, well, this has been in the game for a long time. You guys just haven't bothered fixing it, which they definitely do need to fix. Like, I don't want to get banned for something like that. Like, I know players are just gonna be like, well, just ignore it. Well, the thing is though, ignore it for how long? Right, if this has just been in the game, it just shows that they don't fix these things. I'm pretty sure they're trying to fix it, right? Because it's been a thing for a while. It's affected fights. It's even affected the Hun Hao fight because stagger joining bugged out the fight. Which it's crazy to think about. If it affects raids, it affects advanced combat, it affects all these other things. It definitely needs to get fixed in some sort of way. And certain stuff when it comes to like mechanic wise, I probably have to be careful of. There's a lot of things that they haven't fixed that's considered an exploit, right? Like you can there's this thing with Aeon where if you I mean I probably it's fine. There's a thing with Aeon where like if you can actually get double drops in that fight, right? They haven't fixed that. Even though I'm banned right now temporarily, I know that exists and they still haven't fixed that. There's a decathlon issue where you can craft the decks but you can still save your resources. They still haven't fixed that. There's many bugs in this game that they just don't pay attention to, or the player base is just very silent about, and they just don't fix it. And if I make videos on it bringing attention to it, it could get me banned, right? Which to me, I feel like it's its own separate issue. I feel like if I bring attention to something, right, I don't think I should get banned for it permanently at that rate. I think definitely you should just fix it. But this Hun Hao stuff, obviously, players will have their own opinion on it. I already said my opinion on it. I've heard so many players voice their opinion on it. I know PvP players are happy because it affected them because players had access to the gear. But now that the whole badge locking system that players wanted is just completely out of their mind, and now that they have access to the gear and now they're doing PvP, it's just they don't really care anymore. But I still think to a certain extent, now that someone's beating the raid, I don't think they should have just banned us for that long. Now that I've realized it, because it was beatable once players had the idea. But we'll talk about that for another video. I do want to do a video talking about the whole Azteca raid storyline, about the whole raid race. There should be a video that I've been working on for a while, but it's just taking some time because I have to look for footage, and that's just a whole mess from other people as well. So overall, I probably still will do cheese videos. I probably will, but I have to be very careful. I know certain stuff I have to ask dev permission for, if that's actually fine for me to upload. But players upload this type of stuff all the time and they don't get hit with anything. So I kind of just have to, it depends on CS. Whatever CS says is what I have to follow. From what I've heard from devs. So I've definitely went back and forth with devs about this, and it's just something I have to be wary about. So just for that reason, that's why I'm making a second channel, just in case if something ever does happen, I don't want to just not upload anymore, right? Of course, there's other games I can play, but I don't want to just completely remove the idea of Wiz and Pirate from this channel. That's why I'd rather have a second channel as a backup. So if things don't go well, and for some reason I do get banned in the near future, whether it be for Wallaroo cheese or even the new rematches eventually, I'm pretty sure we'll get new rematches down the line. Whatever it might be a cheese for, I'd rather have a backup option. So then let me know what your guys' opinion is, right? I know some players were saying that they were saying I was wrong or whatever, that I can't get banned for cheese, but it's like they don't know. Like if you don't know what's happening in the back end, like whether it be me talking to, whether it be devs or certain people regarding it, you can't just say you can't get banned for cheese. Theoretically you can. They literally talked about it when it came to the Aeon stuff, and for example the whole crown chest stuff, we literally got banned for a month for it. But just the Aeon stuff, they just gave us a warning and bringing attention to it. So you can theoretically get banned for it. Stagger joining is literally one of them. considered an exploit. That's against TOS. But I don't know. To me, it just makes zero sense. Just fix stagger joining. That's the straightforward. I think that's just a straightforward response from me. Fix stagger joining, everything will be fine. And yeah, there shouldn't be too much issues behind that. Of course, they do need to fix the double drop issue in Aeon. They need to fix the decathlon issues. There's other issues that are considered exploits, but they just don't touch. But I don't want to get banned for like dumb stuff. That's all I'm gonna say. But that is it from me, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. Whenever I do make the new channel, I will make it a separate video regarding it. There's a lot of things I have to go through, whether it be making a banner, changing up the image style, etc. And there's a lot of things I have to get sorted, but the idea is there. It's going to happen of me making another channel. This channel is not going to like disappear off the face of the earth, but I'll talk more about it whenever that video does come out. So be on the lookout for that. So that is it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all that type of stuff. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, guys.